Hi everybody, how are you? Hope you are surviving lockdown. If you're in lockdown, let's begin. So if you have any questions that you want to ask me about the practice after you've done it or in between, you can just write me a little message. But hopefully the little video that I posted about the plank really helped, and some of that stuff that we went through at the beginning of the class last week. So come down into either this position, which is constructive rest position, or if you feel comfortable, you can be in Baddha Konasana, which is where you have the soles of your feet together. And make sure that you're warm enough, make sure that you're comfortable, and just try and relax. So for the next couple of minutes, I just want you to feel as if you're allowing your breath to slow down a little bit. You're allowing your mind to soften, and just going to check in with your body. So you're noticing how everything is feeling for you at this particular moment in time. So you're paying attention to any stiffness that you can feel in your muscles or your joints. Reminding yourself about any injuries that you have, whether these are long-term or something new and exciting. And any special conditions. And also just, how your state of mind is. Whether you're tired, whether there's something on your mind that you can't stop thinking about. This is quite a challenging time in a way, because we're all used to, we're used to being able to make plans, and it does kind of feel like you're in a little bit of limbo. It's challenging. So take all these things into consideration. When you're scanning through, be aware of tension that is not helpful. So tension takes up a lot of energy. You know yourself that you get really tired when you've got a lot of things on your mind. And as much as possible, we want to conserve our energy for other things. Remember also that unconscious or conscious tension also limits the flow of blood or inhibits the flow of blood and energy around the body. So we just want to be aware of these things, so that when we realize that we're doing it, we're creating tension in our jaw or our abdomen, our fingers, we just remind ourselves, why am I doing that? And that everything's softened. So we're going to take a few slightly longer inhalation breaths excuse me, to begin the class. The exhalation will be very passive, okay? So when you're ready to inhale, you just feel as if you're very gently pushing down on the pelvic floor. Definitely this is not a bearing down instruction. It's just a very slight push, very gentle. And then you begin that inhalation nice and low in the belly. Feel the majority of the air move into the main part of the belly, a little bit into the lower chest, and a tiny little bit more into the collarbone. And this is only ever going to be 3/4 of a lungful. So when I say complete inhale, I always mean 3/4 of a lungful. And for the sake of this exercise, the exhalation will just be a feeling of softness and release. You just want your body to be sinking into the space that it's inhabiting. Not all the air will come out. That's okay. Complete the exhalation round that you're on when you're ready. Bring your knees together if they're not together already, and press your toes, your heels, the soles of your feet quite firmly into your mat. Lift your pubic bones slightly and bring your chin in, and if it feels better for your body, for your back, bring one knee at a time to your armpit so that your toes are closed and your knees are wide. Relax in that position for a few moments, reminding yourself to let the spine and the ribs soften. And then you can hold on to your shins and bring your knees just a little bit closer without forcing. And we'll create some resistance by pushing the shins into the palms and the palms into the shins. And relax. That might feel a little bit easier. Fish pose to begin with. So broaden across the upper back. Press the shoulder blades down, chin in, relaxing the belly. And as we did a few moments ago, expanding the tummy as you breathe in. Feeling as if you're lifting the belly, the chest, the collarbone, as if towards the ceiling. And then relax, allowing the back of your body to gently sink back down. This time, if it's possible, bring the arms in between the thighs and just push your arms into your inner thighs, and inner thighs can push back into the arms, and then relax, and then take the palms to the outer knees and push the outer knees into the palms and the palms into the outer knees, and relax. Bring your knees together, pop the arms down by the side. So this time we'll give the hips a bit of a wiggle. So from the left to the right side. And this gives you an opportunity to check in with the lower part of your spine. Now if you prefer to just continue with the side to side movement, no problem. If you want to do something a little bit different and it feels okay, you can start to move the lower part of the spine in a circle, so that this time you are aware of each of the four corners of the lower back connecting with the mat. Opposite direction, or just keep going side to side. And finishing off. So bringing the knees in, just one last little wiggle, left to right. Excuse me. Now anchor your left foot to your mat. Take your right leg straight, so it's about 10 centimeters off the mat. So in that position, helps to soften the hamstring. Good for strengthening the muscles around the knee. And when you're ready, one-legged bicycles with the right leg. So use the other foot for stability, always pressing down into the mat with either your feet or your hands, whatever is on the floor at the time. Let's go back in the opposite direction. And then bring your right thigh nice and close to the chest. Interlink the hands around the shin, give it a push, and then relax. If you want to, just stay here if it's enough. Otherwise, try and flatten the left leg to the ground, and you want to really press your heel and the back of the left leg down. We're going to do this like the fish pose by pushing shin into palms, palms back into the shin, and feeling like we're trying to lift the chest, belly, collarbone up to the ceiling. So you feel yourself going into a little bit of a back arch. Relax, just let the back of the body sink back down towards the mat. Take your fingertips towards the bottom of the mat. Stay here, or try the sit-up where you expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to the chest, peel the upper body off the mat. And if you want to go one more, lift the left leg off the floor. But just keep checking in. Tummy should be breathing. Tummy should be nice and relaxed. Bring the left thigh in, pop both feet on the floor. And we're going to roll over to the left side. We're going to do some clams. So I'm just going to shimmy over here because I think I'm going to hit the wall on the second variation. All right, so left arm can be out to the side, or you can pop that left hand under your head. Feet close, but not touching. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, last one. So this is 12. Do another 12, or relax, or take your left leg straight. You can adjust a little bit if you want to. 12 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Last one. So this is 12. And then we're going to just bring our knees on top of each other, our ankles on top of each other. We're just lifting the lower legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then coming back into constructive rest position, and you'll notice it feels a bit interesting on the right side. Grip the mat with the right foot, left leg straight, so it's 10 centimeters off the mat. Hold it in that position for a while. That helps to firm all the muscles around the knee and also relaxes your hamstring, which means that when you do one-legged bicycles, it might feel a bit easier if the backs of your legs tend to be very tight, which seems very common. Let's go back opposite direction. And then we're going to bring the left thigh nice and close to the chest this time. Interlink the hands around the shin, quick push and relax. And if it's what you did on the first side, stay there, or you can straighten your right leg, anchoring the right heel, trying to get the back of the leg closer to the floor. And we'll do this like the fish pose, which means as we push the shin into the palms, we're pressing the shoulder blades down, but we want to feel like we're lifting belly, chest, collarbone up to the ceiling, and then relax, allowing the back of the body to gently sink back down. Fingertips to the bottom of the mat. That's the easier version. If you want to, you can try the sit up. So you expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, peeling the upper body off the mat. If you want to go one more, lift the right leg. Ideally, you're nice and soft around the sides there. You see those muscles are really squidgy? That's what you want, ideally. And bring the right thigh to the chest. Pop the feet on the mat, and we're rolling over to the right side. So my right arm is out, but it could be here, whatever you need to do. We're doing clams. So feet close, but when you're ready. 1, 2. Are you ready? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is where you can use gravity for weight bearing, you see. So now we've got our knees, our ankles close. We're just lifting the lower leg. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And come back into constructive rest. So your hips should feel a little bit more even, quite similar now. So we're going to do a little sit up, and then we'll come up, all right? So thighs to the chest, balls of the feet to the ceiling, fingertips towards the bottom of your mat, and you can leave your head on the floor if that's what you prefer. Or you expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, peel the upper body off the mat. Now maybe you can lift your tailbone as well. Same thing though, sides of the abs are nice and relaxed. Now, it's not nice for everyone to come up from here. Some people it hurts their neck, or they've got something else going on. So don't do that if it doesn't suit you. Just lie down, roll to the right side, come to sitting and then standing in your own time. Otherwise, you could come up to sitting, possibly you could come up to standing. So let's have our feet, just pull this down a little bit. It's cold this morning. Have your feet about hip width apart. Bend the knees, push your groins forward. So we're just taking the arch out of the lower back, and I'm not suggesting you walk around like this. It's just for the sake of the exercise, just reversing things to get a bit of a stretch in the opposite direction. Round out the back, elbows to the ceiling, armpits towards the floor. Bring the chin towards the throat and extend out through the crown of the head. Tilt the weight forward, feel the toes grip the mat, and then imagine that you're stretching the mat apart with your feet. And now I want you to imagine, because the outsides of your feet are parallel with your mat, that makes them slightly pigeon-toed. But can you imagine you're trying to get your feet into a duck feet position? All right, so that's pigeon-toed, that's duck feet. So you're in a slightly pigeon-toed position. It's like you're trying to get into duck feet. Relax the tummy. Follow me, but I will give you instructions as we go along. Keep your limbs nice and soft and fluid when you're moving. Couple more. Last one. About 10. Off to one side for 5. Back to center, 5. Back to the, off to the other side for 5. Center. to one side. Center. Other side. Center, last one. Last one. And 5. Last one, 12. Like elbows. Last one, back to the beginning. And 5. Last one, 12. Last one, back to the beginning, one more. Five, sorry. 2, 3. Last one. So 12 of these. We're going to go straight into the next vinyasa. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ready? 12. Push that left sitting bone forward. So sorry, I should say easier version, but this is a harder version. You're going to imagine wherever you are that you're trying to get that heel to touch your right armpit. We're going into a crisscross position. So that's a fairly simple variation. You can do a little twist and a tiny forward bend. Obviously, only go down closer to the floor if your body can cope with that one. Now we're going to go into a twisting half moon. So we're off the mat. So the weight's on the left foot. Right foot slides behind. Bit of a twist. No need to lift the right foot if you don't want to, but you can do a little baby lift or you can make it tricky. Check the tummy is breathing. Fingers, little wiggle. Breathe into the belly. Take the right foot back to the mat. Left toe tip in the corner. It's a scoop. Push the left sitting bone forward. Reach with the right fingertips. Imagine your pubic bone pushing to the right foot. So simple, harder, challenging. Next position is the half moon. For those of you who want to go straight into the balance, you can do that, or follow me. Left toe tip to the back of the mat, lift the pubic bone and turn it, your belly, to the back of the mat. Simple, harder, challenging. So we're going to go into the warrior 3 and then go into the lunge. Follow me for an easier variation. Still wobbly. Drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone, take the torso back. So I've got my front sitting bone pushing forward, my left sitting bone is pushing backwards, my belly is relaxed. Twist slightly right, bring the right arm down, reach into the left hand corner. Now maybe you're just going to hang out here, that would be fine. I'm going to give you a little bit of an add-on. Left fingertips to the inner right foot, right arm up. Now notice I'm not stretching my arm back like that. Squeeze your front heel as if to the left side and try and visualize your navel turning more towards the ceiling. So I'm going to give you another add-on, optional. You can stay here or come back into the side stretch. With this one, we're going to bring our palms together, push the upper left arm into the right thigh maybe, so you're resisting back. From here, back into that side stretch. A little bit of an imaginary cuddle. Simple-ish movement. 2 more like that, or trickier. Now on this next one, we're going to take a breath in, all the way forward. Easier, harder, challenging. And we're going to go into the dancer's pose. Go straight into it if you want to, or follow me. So simple, harder, challenging. May or may not be possible. See how you go. From here, we're going into the Karate Kid position. Simple, harder, challenging. And this time we're starting over on the right with the elbow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are you ready? 12. Took me a few weeks to get that one right, didn't it? Lift the right leg if you want to. Now it's a little bit like we're holding onto an energy ball. Right toe tip on the floor. Push the sitting bone forward. Easier, harder, challenging. Imagining the heel touching your left armpit, maybe. Keep the belly breathing. Face, neck, throat nice and relaxed. Crisscross. Alright, so right foot off the mat. Simple. Little twist, tiny forward bend. Go deeper if you want. Just be careful for your body. We're going to go into the twisting half moon position. We're off the mat, so the left toe tip slides behind, belly to the right side. Leave the left foot on the floor or lift it slightly, or maybe you can go higher. Just check. Is my tummy breathing? Is my face relaxed? We're going to take the left foot back to the mat. I'm going to take the right toe tip to the corner, push the right sitting bone forward, lengthen into the left fingertips and the pubic bone towards the left foot. That feels different. You can feel that as a stretch in your groin area there. So little lift, bigger lift, challenging lift. Again, keep checking in, tummy relaxed. Half moon pose, go straight into it, or you can follow me. Right toe tip to the back of the mat, drop the tailbone, move the belly towards the back of the mat. Grip with your front foot, simple, harder, challenging. Belly relaxed. I have to keep reminding myself as well. So we're going to go warrior 3 into the lunge, but follow me if you just want a slightly easier version. I'm going to slide that right foot back. And then you drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone, take the torso back. That feels a lot more stable. Belly soft. Little twist to the left. So left arm down, reach your right fingertips into the corner. So you'll feel that in the hip flexor there. Now you can just stay there, because if you take your hands to the floor, you do have to come up again. That's the gravity we're using for weight bearing. All right, so this might make things a bit difficult for you, but see how you go. Belly, left arm up, don't stretch it back. Squeeze your front heel to the right side. Next one, optional, stay here or go back into the side stretch, but if you want to, palms together, push your upper right arm into your left thigh, resist back, and then we'll go back into that side stretch. Give yourself a bit of a cuddle. Simple-ish variation, not super simple. 2 more like that, or challenging. Now on this one, we take a breath in, all the way forward. Easier, harder, challenging. If you want to go straight into dancer's pose, your version, you can. Otherwise, simple, harder, challenging, may or may not be possible. And everyone knows how hopeless I am at balancing on a carpet. And Karate Kid position, simple, harder, challenging, lovely. All right, I'll turn around this way because it's a bit easier. So straighten up my mat. So fancy hands, do what you can if you haven't done this before, but you notice my feet are a little bit closer for this one. Big toes are closer, heels are a bit wider. Elbows up, armpits down. Be careful for knees. Don't do the harder version if your knees are sore, because it won't make them feel any better. Come up if you want to. A little bend is safer. Only if you have knees of steel would you come down this far. I'm not saying my knees are made of steel, but I can make them feel like they are. Forward, round out the back. Relax belly. Imagine you're squeezing something behind your knees. That creates what's called a little banda, a little energy lock. It's like a bandage. Follow me. We're going to hike up the hip and take the arms over. Second side. We're going to twist. Other side. Back to the first position. Push into the heels of the hands, chest forward, broaden the palms, fingers to the floor. Come up if you can. Roll your shoulders in. Round out the back. Squeeze your hands into a fist. Come up if you can. Now either back into this position or it's backs of your hands together. Shoulders down. Second side. Lovely. When you're ready, like a little swim stroke. Left leg goes back. 1, 2, 3. This time into warrior 3 variation. Simple, harder, challenging. Now we're going to go into the lunge. Remember, if you need to make it easier, you just slide that left foot back. Just depends on where your balance is at. You can see I'm on the ball of my foot. My foot's not like this. That rolls my thigh out. This rolls my thigh in. It's 2 different positions, all right? Again, pubic bone lifts, arms forward, elbows close. So I'm rounding out my back. It's almost like I'm on a road bike in the Tour de France. Push out through your back foot. Now we're going to come into Trikonasana. That's triangle pose. So we take the back heel to the floor, turn the belly to the ceiling, straighten that front leg, but we don't lock it out straight. And again, left arm up without stretching it back. Now, depending on your flexibility, your hand might be here, just below your right knee, or you might come down a little bit, but belly to the ceiling. Squeeze the front heel as if to the left side. And try and keep heel, top of your thighs, all in line. So your bottom isn't sticking out to one side. If your neck is sore, don't look up, look down. Now I want you to relax that left arm completely. So in talking about gravity, just let it soften and drop with gravity. And imagine, like Pinocchio, there are some strings on your fingers and someone is pulling your arm towards the top of your mat. All right, and then you imagine you're reaching for something you can't quite grab. Again, belly to the ceiling. Check your deodorant. Push out through the back foot. You'll feel that in your hip and your hip flexor on the left side. Drop the left arm again. Internally rotate the left shoulder. Wrap it around the waist. Now you might just grab material. Some of you might be able to grab a thigh. Belly to the ceiling. Remember, you've got a head and you've got a belly. They're two separate things. And warrior two. All right. So this is warrior two. We turn the navel to the back of the mat. Lengthen between the fingers. Look forward. And when I look down, I don't want to see my knee doing something like this. I want to see that my knee is tracking nicely between my toes. And that happens again if I squeeze that front heel to the left side. Let the belly relax, and then we're going to keep this left shoulder nice and soft for the next exercise. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3. It's like some strange dance move, isn't it? 4, last one, and 5. And hold on to the imaginary tree. Come into gadget stand position. So you're pushing your heels to your toes, bottom bones to your heels. Relax the belly, but make it more simple if your legs are tired by straightening them a little bit, doing a narrower stance, not such a deep squat. When you're ready, shoulders in, back of hands together, arms up and slightly out. Interlink the hands, push them to the floor, forward and up. Stay on flat feet or come up onto the balls of your feet. Drop the heels, arms out to the side. Stretch into the heels of your hands. Fingertips to the ears, lean right, give it a push. Imaginary cuddle, palms up, lean left, give it a push. Imaginary cuddle. Palms up, let's twist. Breathing in, belly right, right arm back, left arm forward, imaginary cuddle, palms up. Breathing in, belly left, left arm back, right arm forward, imaginary cuddle. Again, shoulders in, arms up. And we're going to take our fingers to the floor. If you don't want to, pop your hands on your thighs, just change the position of your feet. Otherwise, fingers on the floor. Turn your feet so they're slightly pigeon-toed. Sorry, that's my son, you can hear. They're not very quiet, my kids. I don't know where they get it from. Push into the outer feet. Grip with your toes and feel like you're squeezing your heels as if towards the midline. Now, if you need to, you walk your hands forward. You look forward. You can use a prop, a block, or a bolster. But if you feel comfortable, what's the word I'm looking for? In a flexible way, you can walk your hands between your feet. If you feel comfortable because you don't get that pressure in your head that some people get, then you could try just letting your head completely relax. So this time we're using gravity to traction the neck. We're using the weight of the head to create some space between the vertebral joints. So what we're going to remember about the skeleton is that it's vulnerable to gravity. Now let's walk the hands forward if they're not already. We're going to try a little bit of a twist. Now when we do this twist, what I want you to try and consider is that we're trying to move the trunk. It's really difficult. I know there's a lot of stiffness, but that's the point of what we're doing. We're trying to unlock this bit in the middle. All right, flexible hamstrings are one thing, but this is where all the organs are. So let's pop the hand on the belly, the right hand, round out the back. You feel those muscles engage a little bit when you round out the back. And without turning your head, breathe in, turn your navel to the right side. All right, now I'm going to use this left hand that's on the floor to twist more of the torso to the right side and take the right arm up. So it's not stretched back like that. You see? Keep twisting. And I'm going to push into the right foot. Now, I know that's tricky, But this is what you want to work on, getting flexibility in the trunk. Bring the right hand to where the left hand is. Pop the left hand on the belly, round out the back. Breathing in, turn the belly to the left. I know we usually take the hand out, but I want to see what you can do without just stretching your arm back. Use your right palm to twist your navel to the left. Then take the left arm out and try and go a little bit further, pushing into the left foot. Relax, bring the left hand down. So we're either going to shimmy or spring back into Gajastan. Scoop your bum forward, lengthen between the fingers. And this is like the old lawnmower. And 2 and 3. All right, so simple, harder, challenging. Simple, harder, challenging. Pop your foot down. So just check in. I'm hoping that, like me, you're going to think or feel that left leg and hip feels a lot freer. Let's try the second side. So a little swim. Right leg back. Are you ready? We go 1, 2, 3. Warrior 3. Simple, harder, challenging. All right, now you can do the easier version by sliding your right leg back. If you've got your balance, then you can go straight into the lunge, but you need to drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone, and bring the arms forward. Can you see my chest is not collapsing forward? My ribs are in, elbows close. It's almost like I'm riding a bike in the Tour de France. And then I want you to consciously push into your back foot, which shouldn't be this. All right, it's this. And if your toes are stiff, it's a good opportunity for you to try and make them a little bit more flexible. Let's try taking the back foot flat. We're going to turn the belly to the ceiling. We're starting to straighten the front leg, but not completely. Right arm goes up. Turn from the navel. We're not just taking the arm back. Remember, we want this flexibility in the trunk. Okay? We're trying to align the heels, the tops of the thighs. It doesn't look like this. Makes sense? Reach up rather than sinking down. Keep breathing. Stretch the mat apart with the feet. No need to look up if it hurts your neck. Now let that right shoulder drop. Let the arm relax. It's gravity. And there's a lot of stiffness in the shoulders. I know that. We all know that. So let's imagine again, we've got strings on the fingers like Pinocchio. That arm is being pulled forward. Your shoulder, your armpit I should say, and your ear are now grazing each other. We're going to make the fingers longer. Reach for something, and then maybe we can just turn our nose to check our deodorant is working. Push out through the back foot, belly to the ceiling, grip with the toes. Let the right arm drop again. Roll the right shoulder in, wrap it around the waist. Remember, you've got a belly, you've got a head. Turn your navel, not your head, towards the ceiling. You can turn towards the ceiling later, but let's start with the belly. And warrior 2. All right, so front sitting bone to the front heel, tailbone to the back heel, lengthening between the fingers, navel to the back of the mat, check. Look at that front knee. Can you see your left big toe? Because your knee should be tracking with your toes. Relax the tummy, keep the shoulder relaxed for the next exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one. This is 5. Hug the imaginary tree, Gajastan, and Gajastan is up to you. You can do a deep squat or wide stance, but if it makes you feel like crying, why do that? Adjust it if you need to. I'm just going to come back a little bit. It'll be easier for the next exercise. Now, elbows back. This is either cocktail or coffee. I'll let you decide. We take the right hand all the way there. All the way over to the right. Roll the shoulder in once. And twice. 3 times. Again, left side. 1, 2, and 3. This is the J-Lo. Great for your digestion. Left shoulder to right heel. Right shoulder to left heel. Can we do one more each side? Beautiful. Let's do one of these again. If you want to, you just adjust your feet and take your hands to your thighs. If it feels okay to take your fingers to the floor, do that. Adjust your feet now so they're slightly pigeon-toed, but we don't want to collapse like this. So what I want you to do is push into the outer feet, grip with your toes, and remember in the beginning I said even though your feet are slightly pigeon-toed, it's like you're trying to get them into duck feet. You imagine you're trying to get back into Gajah stand. Keep a little bend in your knees even if you're very flexy, but your pose could look like this. If there is no issue with pressure in your head and you have the flexibility, let your head relax. Use the weight of your head to traction your neck. Use it as a resting position after the hard work of Gajah stand and warrior. But try not to collapse into the inner thighs. Now the twist we're going to do on this side of the pose, it's quite simple. We just walk our hands over to the right side. That's enough. Otherwise, I want you to focus on your navel and imagine you're trying to twist to get your navel and the top of your right thigh to connect, but then you can bring your hands into outer space. Now those of you who want something a little bit different, because some of you are very flexible, you can take your, see this is my left shoulder, on the outside of the left or right leg, sorry, right arm forward. That's quite a strong twist. Irene, I know you like add-ons. I don't think you're going to be able to do this one with those tight little shoulders, but you can have a go. Second side, my feet a bit closer actually. Walk your hands gently over to the right, relax. Harder, I want you to visualize your navel, the top of your left thigh, turn them towards each other, and your arms can go into outer space. Now if you wanted to do that add-on that I just showed you, it's more of a twist. The outside of your right arm, God, sorry, I'm getting my left and right confused, which doesn't help. Your right arm is pushing into your left leg, left arm on the floor. Okay? Tricky. Okay. We can either spring or shimmy back into Gajah stand. We scoop the bum bones forward. And we've got the lawnmower. 1, 2, and 3. Simple, harder, challenging. Simple, harder, challenging. Let's do some energy balling. Relax the belly. So this is a really good exercise if you want to get that movement happening in the trunk. There's a lot of kind of chronic health conditions associated with having stiffness in the trunk. It's really worth getting that movement happening. Obviously it's caused from sitting, but also this tension people hold in their belly because they want to look nice in their clothes. But they've overworked those muscles. Let's come down into Uttanasana. So Uttanasana is the forward bend. This is a relaxed variation. Bent knees, soft shoulders. And then we're going to come down onto our shins. Now round out the back. If it's possible for you, you're going to come up onto your shins in this position. Pop something under your knees. I'm just going to go this way because it might be easier to follow my left and right. So if you put your hands on your tummy and then push the belly forward and lean back, you see how firm those muscles go, but they're nice and soft around the sides. This is a nice way to engage your core muscles, but without creating any tension. You can still breathe. So take the arms behind, push into the heels of your hands. And again, shoulders in, round out the back a little bit, squeeze the hands into fists. So we're going to take the left hand on the right, right hand on the left, palms together, and then keeping the palms touching, bring the hands through. So the first thing that we're working on is trying to straighten the arms with the palms touching. And if you can do that, then you can turn your hands anti-clockwise as well, and that gives you a bit more of a stretch. So this helps to stretch out the forearms. So when your hands get sore, often it's tension in the forearms. You can also sit down when you're watching Netflix, give your forearms a bit of a massage. None of these things will hurt. Second side, right hand on the left. Take your hands through. Try and keep your palms touching. And we're working firstly on straightening the arms. And secondly, if that all comes together, you can add on by turning your hands clockwise. Beautiful. Let's try one of these again. Arms up. Push forward. Lean back slightly. Grab your mat. And this time, we're going to spread the fingers. And we're going to push all the fingers down but lift up the palms, all right? Don't worry about the thumb. So we're just going to press the little finger, the ring finger, middle finger, index finger. Do it again. Now when your palm ends up back on the floor, your thumb and your thumb pad, the first thing I want you to notice is that you're not doing that habitual thing, which is sinking into the wrist. We all do that. I have to remind myself all the time. But look after your hands by using the whole of the surface of your hands when your hands are on the floor, particularly if you're doing your arm balances or weight bearing. So push the bottom bones forward. And what we're going to do now is take the right leg back, left arm forward. Maybe I should do this way again. Okay. Now you can take that left hand back to the floor, or you can do the really tricky version, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. So when you're ready, thigh to chest, knee to shoulder. 1. We're doing 5. So this is 2. 3, 4, and 5. Just take that knee to the chest again. Right foot to the bottom of the mat. We're going to just use that left hand. It's just for balance. We're just on a couple of fingers. We're not sinking into the hand for this one. And this shoulder, exactly how we did it before, relaxed, extending into the fingers. This is Parigasana. Now you want to play around with this to work on your core muscles, because those muscles have to work if I'm balancing. Not if I sink into the hand, it's not quite the same. So we can lift the right leg. You can try both. It's tricky though. And right hand down. So this right foot's still in the same place, because what I want you to do now is push the heel closer to the floor. And relax. Let's try the other leg. So we're going to push the left foot a bit closer to the floor, and we're in the right position to come into Gomukhasana. If you don't want to do that one, don't do it. Kneel and stretch forward. But if you want to have a go, the right leg goes over to the left knee slides in behind, and we're working towards bringing our bottom to the floor. We try squeezing the knees together rather than collapsing into the pose. You want to make it a little bit more intense. Take yourself around to the right. Lift that left shoulder up a little bit. Take it around to the left. Lift that right shoulder up a little bit. And come back into the cat pose for the second side. So be careful for your hands again. Remember, easy to forget. Left leg back, right arm forward. Now, I would normally take my right hand back to the floor, but this is the tricky version. Thigh to chest, knee to shoulder. That's 1. 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Thigh to chest. We're going to come into Parigasana. There's my left foot. I'm just going to use the tips of my right fingertips just for balance. Left arm forward, belly to the ceiling. If I take that hand off the floor, those muscles have to really work. You try. All right. Then I'm going to try lifting my left leg. And try both. Hours of fun trying. Oh, that was pretty good. Back into cat pose. Careful for your hands again. And work on pushing your left heel to the floor, stretching out the calf a little bit. Second side. And then either you're going to kneel and stretch forward if you didn't really feel comfortable doing Gomukhasana. Otherwise, that left leg goes over to the right. Right leg slides behind. We work towards bringing the bottom to the floor. Squeeze the thighs together. And again, you can hook it over to the right. Just gently lifting the left shoulder or Some of you could add on, do this one. Back into the cat pose. Okay, let's come this way. I feel like a cat, you know, the cats just turn around all the time. All right, so we're going to do chaturanga. You don't like it, you don't have to do it. You can lie on your tummy now. This is the little video that I just put on YouTube and I sent to my little group. And I think it's on the YogaSphere page as well. So it just gives you some tips for doing this exercise which don't involve collapsing. You see, because my upper back is rounded, my ribs are in, I'm taking care of my hands, looking forward, breathing in, shoulders over the wrist, elbows in. And then ideally my chest is going to touch the floor before my belly. Might be half a second, but that's the idea. So roll the thighs in. We're doing Shalabhasana. I'm going to roll up my sleeves for this one to get the grip. So I would say not here, a little bit wider than your shoulders, just a tiny bit. Push the navel down, but pull the elbows back towards the hips. Press the shoulders and the armpits towards the floor, lift the sternum, that's the breastbone. And the idea of this one, well, we're opening the chest a little bit without niggling the back, which is good. But also, in the beginning when I said take the arch out of your lower back, just sometimes as you get older you don't have that constant movement of fluid through your spine. You have to move to get that fluid to move. And so just reversing your curves ever so slightly in gentle ways can help that fluid to move. So in this exercise, it's like we're trying to arch the upper back, which doesn't arch, it gets very stiff, the upper back. Relax. Okay, we're going to take the left knee out to the left side. I'm not very good at mirroring this one, but I think it's easier to see. You can just follow if you want and forget the left and right. So push the tailbone down, or you can just listen and do the left and right. So left hand is next to the chest, right arm, not midnight, not 3 o'clock. It's 1:30, right? And you see how my hand is? It's not like this. Grabbing the mat, bending the elbow, and consciously pushing my elbow and my pec down into the mat. I'm not doing this, okay? I can't stress that enough, okay? Nor is my arm like this. Have a look at the position. So pec pushes down, and then you use your left hand. I want you to imagine that this right arm has been super glued to the ground in that position, and your left hand, you're using it to lift your chest off the floor in an attempt to unglue that glue that's glued the pec down to the floor. And as you push that pec down to the floor, at the same time that you're trying to lift it, you'll feel something happening, okay? Some of you can take your left toe tip behind you, but for others, if that's a really strong stretch for you, you're in danger of overstretching and pulling a muscle, okay? Back to the first position. If you check that out, that's going to feel softer. The right shoulder feels nicer, which can only make the neck feel nicer, etc., etc. So right knee out, tailbone down, grab the mat on the right side. This is midnight, that's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go to 10:30. I'm bending my elbow, pushing my elbow down, and it's like I'm gluing my pec to the floor. Now, use your right hand. This is easy if you've got breasts, because it's not very nice to get them, have them squished. So you can imagine you're trying not to get your boobs squished. You use your right hand to lift, but you keep pushing your pec down to the floor because super glue. Okay, and some of you take your right toe tip behind. So you can see now I'm on my side, but that left pec is still very close to the floor. That hand is grabbing the floor. It's not passive. None of the stretches I do are passive, because limited benefits from passive stretching. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Oh, you yin yogis. Let's go back to this position. All right, we're going to try some swimming. You don't like it, just do this. That's nice. Or do that one again. Or do half the exercise, which is where you just keep your toes on the floor. You do your arms, all right? I'm going to do both. Let's do 35 if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Beautiful. Alright. So what we're going to do now is the worm to go back into a kneeling stretching forward. There is a harder version, but I'm going to do the easy version with you. So you see my elbows are at chest level. My thumbs are at nose level. But then I'm going to move my shoulders away from my ears. Keep my chin in. Don't lift from the chin. Don't lift from the chest. Get out of that habit. And as you breathe in, visualize the pubic bone moving towards the chin. That brings you into a kind of forearm cat position. And then you can walk your knees closer to your elbows and come into cat pose proper. Careful for your hands again. Round out the back. Take your knees wide when you're ready. And if it's possible for you, bottom close to your heels. Now if you've got problems with your shoulders, arms or neck, then you just drop your forearms where they land. Otherwise, we're going to use our arms to traction the spine by creeping our fingers to the top of the mat, pushing the armpits down, bringing the chin in, rounding out the back, belly relaxed. Okay, so my armpits are down, but my upper back is lifting. And I want it to feel almost the same way that it would if I was hanging on monkey bars and I would be getting all that tractioning between my vertebral joints because of gravity in my body weight. And when we go into the down dog, should you want to go into the down dog, this is what your down dog should feel like. So you can stay here, that's your decision, or you can follow me. We're going to go through the down dog vinyasa. And again, I want to remind myself of my hands because I want to be able to open jars when I get older. That'll be more important to me than being able to do a fancy arm balance, I'm sure. So round out the back, bottom to heels, take it back, and you can walk it out a little bit if you want to. You can bend your knees the way I'm doing, can be on the balls of your feet. But what I am doing as well is I'm using my hands, I'm pushing my body weight away from the floor, I'm resisting gravity. My shoulders are close to my earlobes, you can see that maybe, chin to the throat. Now, as I look at my belly, what could happen is this. That's my chest dropping, but I want to bring my ribs in and feel as if I'm trying to get my bum bones to my heels. Feel as if I'm trying to get my navel and my pubic bone closer to my chin. Now you could, if you wanted to, come onto your fingers just to remind yourself not to sink into the wrist. Racks, that's my short version of relax. Okay, so you can rax, or you can take your weight to the left foot and lift your right leg. And again, you can relax, or we're going to either come into the wild thing pose or Parigasana. All right, so I'll show you how to do the easy version from the way we're going to do it. So you take your right foot over to the left, slide the right palm forward, turn the back foot. Now you can stay in wild thing position, or this is your Parigasana. We did that before. This is your wild thing pose. You can turn it into a bit of a back arch or just leave it like a half plank. Back into the down dog. Careful for hands, go through some of those things again. Second side, left leg lifts. Of course, you can rax, which is my short version of relax, or you can take your left foot over to the right, slide the left palm closer, turn the back foot. This is the wild thing pose. Don't like it? Try this one. Or, on a harder version, turn it into a back arch. Back into down dog. Beautiful. And drop your knees. Now we're going to come into sitting. We're nearly there. So you can follow me. I'm going to cross my ankles. That won't feel nice for everybody. Do it your way, if that is the case. And we're going to do one more little stretch for the chest. Table pose. We'll do an easy version first. So we take the hands back. See, I'm leaning back a little bit. Fingers to the bum, towards the bottom. And grab the mat. Now what I want to do is push my shoulders down. I want to feel as if my elbows are going to connect. Alright, so they're not that way, they're that way. And then, without lifting my head, because your head always lifts, that's the habit, focus on your chest. You know what your chest is? Your sternum, that's your breastbone. Lift your sternum, your breastbone, push your chest forward, keep the elbows working towards each other. So that's a bit different. All right, now, if you want to do the next version, you don't have to. You breathe in, push your bottom towards your heels, lift the belly up, shoulders to hips. And remember, a table is something that you can put cups and saucers on and they don't fall off. And relax, coming back down. Roll your shoulders in, squeeze the hands into a fist and out. Lovely. Now if you need to get anything warm, if you know where you're practicing is a bit cooler, because it is always cool in the morning. I'm practicing in the morning, I've got this on, it's not too hot though. Get yourself warm now so that you can go straight into relaxation and you don't have to go and grab all these things afterwards. So this is, we're going to do a little releasing practice, okay? So once you're down in constructive rest, grip the mat with the left foot, take the right leg straight, 10 centimeters off the mat. We're going to do, again, some one-legged bicycles. Now it might feel different at this end of the practice because we've loosened so many things up. You can go back in the opposite direction. And back to the first position and nice and slowly bring the right leg up. So we're going to go into a crisscross, so that's left leg to the right side, and then we're going to go, right leg to the left side, left leg to the right side, but you can stay like that if you want to. Gosh, I have my left and right confused. Now leave your head on the floor if you want to, or do the add-ons with me. So you reach your fingers to the ceiling. You could expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, peel the upper body off the mat, and coming back down. And now what we're going to do is a happy baby position. So if you can take your left leg to your side ribs, so front ribs, side ribs, this right leg goes into happy baby position. So that's me doing the happy baby without using my other hand. To do the resistance variation, either calf, ankle, or the outside of your right foot. And you imagine you're trying to get your thigh to the floor, but you're pushing your foot to the ceiling at the same time. All right, so it's a little bit like having an arm wrestle. And then I just want you to relax that tensioning a little bit, all right? So it doesn't feel like your life depends on it, because we all do that too. And for those of you who just want to stay where you are, that's your limit. Don't go any further. For those of you who have a bit more flexibility, I'm just going to roll over there. This is for you. You can let go of your leg and you straighten it a little bit. Bring your arm on the inner right leg and you push your leg into your arm into your leg, and then relax and try one more. Little push and relax, and then you can hold on to either your big toe or some other part of your leg, or go back to that first happy baby variation. And you want to be in a place where there is enough going on that it holds your attention, but not so much going on that you feel stressed and you feel like you're overstretching, because overstretching is a sympathetic nervous system response. It's telling you danger. We don't want that. Hug the thigh to the chest and pop your feet on the mat. Alright, so I'll just roll back, sorry, because I'm very close to the window. So grip the mat with the right foot, left leg straight, 10 centimeters off the mat. Let's do one-legged bicycles, just a few. Opposite direction. Back to the first position and slowly, left leg up. Let's see if I can get my left and right correct this time. So a crisscross, we're taking the left leg to the right, and you can relax there. If you like something a bit more challenging, right leg to the left. A bit more challenging than that, reach your fingers up towards the ceiling, leave your head where it is, or expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, peeling the upper body off the mat. Coming back down to the floor, happy baby. So you can see I'm hugging my right thigh to my side ribs on the right, this left leg. That's a happy baby pose without using another part of my body. That's absolutely fine. That's not cheating. If you want to do the resistance version, either calf, ankle, maybe the outside of the left foot, and you feel like you're trying to get your thigh to the floor, but your foot is trying to go that way, yeah? So again, we can use our own body for weight-bearing exercises. This is exactly the same muscles that I would use if I was pulling myself up onto a ledge, if I was climbing, in other words. Now just relax that tensioning enough. Not so it becomes a passive stretch, but just so there's a little bit of effort, a little bit of surrender, and maybe for most of you you're going to stay there, but for those of you who are extremely flexible, I know there's a couple of you out there who need that challenge, you can straighten or try straightening your left leg a little bit. Left arm on the inner left leg, give it a push, relax. Try again, little push, relax, and then again you can hold on to maybe your big toe, maybe your calf, or maybe go back to that first position. Keep your focus on the muscles that you can feel lengthening in this position. They shouldn't feel like they're overstretching. They should be just enough. It's always, you always want to be working to your edge. Just slightly outside of the comfort zone, side to chest. Pop the feet on the floor. So those exercises for the groin, they can really make the hips feel so free, but you don't want to overdo them. You don't want to overdo anything. So your feet are going to be hip width apart. Lift the pubic bone. We're nearly there. Chin in. Take your arms so they're on a similar plane to your thighs. Now, if you've had enough, just pressing your feet down and lifting your pubic bone is enough to keep you nice and warm and keep your attention steady. You want to do the full Setu Bandha, breathing in, feel as if you're lifting your pubic bone towards your chin, and you should find that organically the front of the hips start to lift towards the ceiling. And then you can, again, try and imagine you're trying to get your feet into duck feet, and that will engage all the muscles around the pelvic floor, plus release some of the tension in the inner groin. So expand the tummy as you inhale. In this position, the back muscles are working organically. You can check it out if you like. See, nice and firm. Bum muscles nice and firm. So the belly doesn't have to be tense. It never really has to be tense. Try and consider that organic muscle activation is the way to go. Not squeezing and tensing and all those things. It doesn't work. Pop the arms down by the side. Rest if you need to. Come out of the pose if you want to, or try the next one, provided it's not too strong for your neck. Shuffle onto one side, bring one arm under, do the same on the other side. And maybe you can shimmy your shoulders down, press the backs of the arms down, and maybe you can imagine that you're lifting your chin ever so slightly away from your throat. And lower your bottom about a third, just so you can release your shoulders. And we're going to come down the last few centimeters with awareness. We're going to try to defy gravity a little bit. So focus on the upper back and imagine, if you can, all of your spinal joints moving separately. Pubic bone to the chin. It's like all those joints are steps or stairs on an escalator. They are part of one contraption, but they are separate components. Once your bum lands, relax. And if it's more comfortable for you, bring one knee at a time to your armpits. Bring the arms in between your thighs. Give it a push and relax. Hold on to your shins. Bring your knees just that little bit closer to the armpits, and then give it a push and relax. Last pose, pretty much the same as the first. This is fish pose. Broaden across the upper back. Press the shoulder blades down. Bring your chin towards the throat and relaxing the belly. Expand the tummy on the inhale. So feel as if you're lifting your belly, your chest, your collarbone as if towards the ceiling. So the front of the body expands and the middle of the spine moves away from the mat. Relax. Allow the back of the body to sink back down. Bring your knees together, pop the arms down by the side, give it a wiggle. And let your feet pop back down to the mat. Now you can turn your palms up, just gently extend into your fingertips, especially if you're someone who falls asleep quite easily. Or you could rest your hands on your belly. Leave your feet in this position or shimmy them out, let your knees drop together. For some of you, you might feel comfortable in Baddha Konasana. So we're going to do a few rounds of breathing exercise. I'm just going to get my socks. If you remember it, just go for it. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to take you through it. This is called Viloma-krama. So Viloma-krama is a staggered breathing exercise. Okay. You can work with the inhale. You can work with the exhale. But you're just creating a pattern. The most important thing is to be aware of the pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in normally, same way that we did in the beginning, 3/4 of a lungful. And when you exhale, it's going to be in 3 pretty even stages. Okay, so it's exhale, pause, and then you exhale, and you release all the breath and you begin again. For those of you who feel comfortable practicing Ujjayi breathing, you can practice Ujjayi breathing while you're doing this. It helps it a little bit because it creates a little bit of length in your inhale and your exhale. But otherwise, just do what you can. But the other thing to remember is that I'm giving you a set of instructions, and it's very easy to kind of perform when you're given instructions, but you really want to feel it as well. So, you don't want to be going, okay, exhale, pause. You actually want to let your body relax. Don't think of it as instructions, okay, that you have to get right. Just allow your body to absorb the idea of it. And you're going to put your own spin on it, the same way that every pose has your own individual spin on it. I can give you all those instructions. You can come to a class and follow instructions. But if you want to practice yoga, you have to go away and do it by yourself. That's the reality. An experience of yoga rarely happens in a yoga class. It's not that it's not worthy, but we want to take those things away so that we can feel them on a much deeper level. That idea of lengthening those pauses for those of you who feel comfortable, if you're quite practiced with your pranayama. But for those of you who don't feel so comfortable, you can change it up. It doesn't have to be 3 exhale pauses. It could be 2, it could be 1. Do what you feel comfortable doing and slightly uncomfortable doing. Too comfortable, mind will drift. you're uncomfortable, you get stressed. You want to find that sweet spot always. Play around with that idea of doing what we did in the beginning, where we just relaxed and some of the air came out, rather than pushing and hurrying and, feeling as if there is somewhere that you're going to end up. It doesn't have to be somewhere that you're going to end up. It can just be something that in this moment is going to give you the feeling, the sensation, and the next time you complete that exhalation round, just relax. Come back to the natural rhythm of your breath and try and let go of any sense of controlling your breathing or anything else. Now for the last part of the practice, I want you to be warm and comfortable. If you need to adjust your posture, do it now, do it quickly, do it unfussily. It could be Shavasana, you might need something underneath your knees or cushion. But when we're in Shavasana, it's easy to lose the yoga as well, because the mind just drifts as soon as there's nothing to do. So let's try and give ourselves an experience of a meditation technique called Dharana. Dharana is where we always concentrate on something. We focus on something. And in this instance, just see if you can continually bring your awareness back to your current experience by holding your attention very close to your body and the parameters of your body. So the space that your body is inhabiting, the sensations within your body. And be aware of how your mind, your brain, your senses are interpreting the information around you, the thoughts that pop into the mind, the emotions. And it's always good to remind ourselves that this is very personal, it's very subjective. We are all very caught up with the idea of I, my experience, my feelings. But let's see if we can, even if it's just for the next couple of minutes, try to view this subjectiveness objectively. If you'd like to do a longer relaxation, have a bit of extra quiet time, you can mute the recording, turn me off. Otherwise I'm going to take you through the last part of the practice where we do a visualization to finish. Okay, so just check in with your body, allow any tension that has crept in to soften and to release. And this visualization, this practice is all about improving the flow of blood, invoking the healing response. And if you bring your attention now to the palms of your hands or the tips of your toes, you notice they become a little bit more interesting, a little bit more tingly, and you have essentially improved the blood flow to that area just by focusing on it. So you can see how if you're doing one thing, focusing on something else, that's not a great place to be. You really want to be in a meditation in your daily life, with your daily activities, is to really be aware and kind of focused on what you're doing, even if it's just washing up. You know, we kind of rush through so that we can get to the next bit. But just see how that feels to really be in the moment with whatever it is that you're doing. So I'll get you to just start by focusing on the lowest part of your belly, so the pelvic floor, pubic abdomen, and just feel as if you're taking a little sip of air in to the lower belly. And just sense that whole area becoming warm and feeling spacious and nourished. You can follow your breath now into the main part of the belly, the most important part of our anatomy. Just feel the navel lifting away from the spine and visualize the whole of the digestive system, the nerves that surround that area. This is pretty much where a large part of the immune response or the immune system resides as well. So I want you to remind yourself that this whole area is governed by the relaxation response. When we're relaxed, everything works at an optimal level. When we're a little bit stressed or there's something going on in our body is fighting off an illness because that's stress as well. All these systems tend to go into sleep mode because energy has to be directed to either that feeling of our escape, basically. So let's just sense this whole area becoming warm and feeling nourished, and importantly feeling free of tension. Follow the breath into the chest, just feeling the ribs lifting slightly out of the waist, and this time visualizing the heart, the lungs, the circulatory system. Maybe you can sense the vibration of the heart, and you can visualize your circulatory system like a series of tunnels and channels around your body where the blood, the energy, the information has to flow without impediment. And what creates blockages are things like overthinking, over-tensing, overeating, over-exercising. So really get the sense that these particular parts of your body are working together to move that blood around the body, to bring oxygen and nutrients into your cells. Allow the throat to soften and follow the breath through the throat to the crown of the head, just pausing to observe for a moment sensation at the crown of your head. Now when you're ready to exhale, just see if you can follow that, not just as a feeling of softness and release in your muscles and your bones, but also with that sense of allowing, that sense of acceptance. Give up the struggle. Try and be content in the moment. So just see if you can follow that idea. See if you can follow that exhalation down the back of your head, your neck, the upper back and across your shoulders, the middle back, lower back, across the top of the pelvis, the buttocks, tailbone, and down through each of your legs and the heels, and out through the tips of each of your toes. And in your own time, you can give your fingers and your toes a little bit of a wiggle. You can squeeze your eyes, your eyelids together, and you can bring your arms up above your head and give your whole body one last big stretch. And you can either bring up your left knee to roll yourself gently to the right side, or both knees if that feels better. Give yourself a bit of a rock and roll yourself gently to the right side. You can stay there for as long as you like. And I'm sorry for all the noise outside the room today. Have a great day. Namaste.